Replacing the internal blower motor on a RUUD, RHEEM or similar HVAC furnace. The furnace displays code 61. Turn off the furnace disconnect. Open the furnace blower compartment. Check the code description on the furnace label. From the description of the codes on the furnace label, you know that it is a blower fault, motor cannot run code. Once you have tested the motor and are sure that the blower motor is faulty, it will need to be replaced. How to easily test a blower motor without using special test tools is shown in another video linked in the video description. To order the correct motor, you must know the furnace model number or the motor label information. HVAC stores or the manufacturer can select the appropriate motor based on the model and serial number taken from the furnace. To obtain data from the motor must be removed. A label on the furnace with the furnace model and serial number. Motor data label on blower motor. Make sure the power to the furnace is turned off. Turn off the furnace circuit breaker. To replace the blower motor, remove the blower and motor from the blower compartment. Thermostat cable. If necessary, disconnect the thermostat cable wires. When disconnecting any wires, remember to mark them correctly so that they can be reconnected in the same way later for the furnace to function properly. Take a photo or label it with a description. The screw that secures the control board base to the blower assembly. Snap-in tab of control board base. 24 volts wires from the transformer connected to the control board. PFC, power factor choke, connector. Blower ground wire with ground screw. 120 volts wires from the transformer connected to the control board. Igniter wire. Low voltage wiring plug for blower motor. Memory card. Remove the screw securing the control board mounting clamp. Pull the control board base tabs from the blower housing, and disconnect any wires that prevent the control board from being pulled aside. Set the control board aside. Blower motor plugs. Disconnect the motor plugs and set them aside. Control board and wiring temporarily placed on the side of the furnace. The screw securing the blower to the furnace body from the blower motor side. The screw securing the blower to the furnace body from the air return side. Blower slide track. Remove the screws securing the blower to the furnace body on both sides. Slide out the blower assembly. (120 volts) furnace power junction box. If the furnace power junction box prevents removal of the blower, the junction box must be disconnected and removed. Slide the blower back in and disconnect and remove the 120 volts power junction box. Slide the blower out and remove it from the furnace body. Place the blower with the blower rotor facing up. Blower rotor. Blower motor axle. Blower rotor screw securing the rotor to the motor axle. Loosen the screw securing the rotor to the motor axle. Turn over the blower. Blower motor. Motor brackets. Screws with washers securing the motor to the blower. Remove the 4 screws securing the motor bracket to the blower body and remove the motor. Mark the orientation points for the motor bracket on the motor, which may be helpful when installing the bracket on the new motor. Motor bracket orientation markings on the motor. Screw securing the bracket to the motor. Remove the bracket from the motor. Blower motor label. All the data on the motor label is important, but to easily find a new motor, the custom model number tells you everything about that motor. These numbers tell you everything about the specific motor programmed for a given furnace unit. For example, if you type your furnace brand and custom model number into your web browser, you'll get all the other motor data. For example, type RUUD 5110260301. New, same but refurbished blower motor, ready for installation. The custom model number is the same, so it will fit perfectly in place of the old, damaged motor. Blower motor bracket. Recess in the bracket leg for placement in the recess of the bracket ring. Recess in the bracket ring for placing the recess of the bracket leg. Cuts in the motor housing. Install the motor bracket removed from the failed motor onto the new motor. When installing the motor bracket on a new motor, make sure that the bracket legs are located near the motor cutouts, like the old motor. The recess in the bracket leg for placement in the recess of the bracket ring and the recess in the bracket ring for placing the recess of the bracket leg fit together. The top distance of the bracket legs from the edge of the motor is about the same as the old motor. Tighten the motor bracket ring screw. Insert the motor axle into the hole in the blower rotor and place the motor in a similar orientation position as the previous one. Attach the motor brackets with the motor to the blower body using the washers and screws removed when removing the motor. Motor receptacles for power and control wiring. Motor receptacles. They are in a similar position to the one in which the motor was previously installed, to be able to reach the receptacles and plug the motor wires. Turn the blower. Unequal gap on both sides of the rotor. The rotor touches the other side of the blower body. Flat part of the motor axle. Adjust the rotor evenly between both sides of the blower body and tighten the rotor screw on the flat part of the motor axle. The blower rotor is evenly positioned on both sides of the blower body. The screw is tightened on the flat part of the motor axle. Blower slide track on the return air side. Blower slide track on the motor side. Slide the blower into the blower slide track on the furnace housing. The blower is inserted in a sliding track on the furnace housing. Secure the blower to the furnace housing using previously removed screws. Blower secured with screws. Reinstall the furnace control board. Slots for the control board base. Tabs of the control board base. Insert the lower tabs of the control board base into the slots for the blower control board base on the blower. Lower tabs of control board base inserted. Press the base of the control board towards the blower to engage the top tabs into the slots on the blower. Top tabs of control board base inserted. Secure the control board to the blower with the mounting clamp and screw. Control board secured to the blower. Reinstall the power junction box if it was removed and reconnect the furnace to power supply. Connect the power and control wire plugs to the motor. Plugs connected to the motor. Reconnect any wires previously disconnected from the furnace control board. Make sure all wires are reconnected correctly and in the same way as before. Reconnect the thermostat cable wires if they were disconnected. Using cable ties, group and secure internal wiring neatly to prevent damage. Close the furnace blower compartment. Restore power to the furnace. Turn on the furnace disconnect. Set the thermostat to test the furnace for cooling and heating. If this video is helpful, please subscribe. Comments are welcome.